we have that function f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. And then we have g of x. G of x is equal to x plus 3. X plus 3. So we have two functions. We have f of x and g of x. So when we talk about functions, like the way we did with the previous one, it was y is equal to. So with functions, f of x can also stand for y. All right. So the first question is saying find the inverse of this function. Find the inverse of this function. So now how do we find the inverse of that? So what we do, my good friend, is we introduce, or rather say, let f of x is equal to y. Let f of x be y. Right? So the moment our f of x becomes y, that means our function now will be y is equal to 2x minus 5. Because what we have done is where there is f of x, we have introduced a y. Then after you introduce the y, you now make x to be the subject of the formula. You work towards making x to be the subject of the formula. So we are going to group the terms. So negative 5 will join the y by active inverse. That means we subtract both sides, we add both sides by 5. So we're going to have y plus 5 is equal to 2x, because that negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Then after that, I divide by 2 on both sides. Why? Because I'm trying to make x to be the subject of the formula. So now, x is equal to y plus 5 over 2. When I reach this point, I bring in this information. Okay? I say the inverse of f of x is equal to. Now, when we reach this point, where there is y, put x. So we're going to have x plus 5 over 2. Now, this is the inverse of that function. This is the inverse of that function. We can equally find the inverse of that, although it's not part of the question. We can still find the inverse of that. All right? So, we do the same. We let g of x is equal to y as well. So now we're going to have y is equal to x plus 3. Then make x to be the subject of formula. That means this positive 3 by additive inverse, we subtract both sides by negative 3. So to be y minus 3 is equal to x. So x is equal to y minus 3. Then bring in the inverse. G inverse of x, okay, is equal to x minus 3. So now the inverse of that function, it is that, x minus 3.